Good morning and welcome to Tuesday Transformation Tidbits, where we're exploring faith, growth, and purpose. I am Patrice, and I am so honored that you have taken your time out this morning to be with me. On this year in 2025, we're dealing with the unstoppable momentum with acceleration and expansion. And in the month of February, we've been talking about love beyond limits, love's ability to multiply when it is freely given out. It multiplies. You never lose out on love, or the well never grows dry when we're talking about love. And on this morning, once again, we're going to go back and we're going to deal with the element of love. Love covers, the Bible talks about, a multitude of things. When you love, you cover, and in most cases, you don't expose to everyone. You might have a conversations with the one that you're in love with, but you don't expose their fears. You don't expose things that they need to have covered. So, in this morning, we're going to be talking about overcoming the fear of giving love. Many of us hesitate to love freely in this world we live in. We hesitate because of the very element of fear. We have fear of rejection. So we have fear of being taken advantage of. We have fears of not receiving love and return. But when we look at love, love is both a commandment that's given us, and it's a manifestation of God's nature. So when we look at the element of love, the Bible talks about that we must love the Lord thy God with all our soul, with all of our mind. And it says that that is the greatest commandment that we can do. And then it goes on and talks about a second one is equally important, and that is to love your neighbor as yourself. And I know a lot of times when we begin to look at that particular verse and we say that we love the neighbor as ourselves, sometimes we have challenges with loving ourselves, which is the reason why the love that we give out to other people may be dysfunction a little bit, because we have a challenge with loving ourselves. But I want to talk about love. It promotes self-discovery. And love, it promotes self-transformation. Do you realize that love can transform a lot of things? The very element of love is so deep and so rich until we need love in our life in order to live in a lot of different cases. When we look at love, love is really the truest form of illustrating unconditional acceptance. When we look at the truest form, is unconditional acceptance. I love you just because you are you. I don't love you with a laundry list of things that I need you to change in order to give you love, but I love you unconditionally with the unconditional acceptance. We understand that the true element of unconditional love is when Christ died on the cross of Calvary while we were yet still in the element of sin. He went to the cross and he died just for us, just to give us an opportunity to life, just to know what love was all about. Tina Turner sings a song, "What Love Got to Do with This?" I come to tell you this morning that love has everything to do with life. Love has everything to do with existence in life. Love can make you live longer than what you've ever anticipated, but we've got to have unconditional acceptance of a person when they're loving on this morning. So when we look at love, love in its purest form, it symbolizes a profound connection with one another, between one another's soul. We connect with the soul of the person when we have genuine love for that person. On this morning, we're dealing with love promotes self-discovery. We want love to promote the self-discovery on the inside of us. Not only do we want it to promote self-discovery, but we want it to have a transformation on the inside of us. We know we talk about February as being the month of love, but before February concludes, I want all of us to understand the very essence of what love is all about. Understanding that we have to give love, and when we give love, it multiplies. Our well shall never grow dry of love, because love, when it's given out, it will multiply and give it back to us. Love in the spiritual context, love is more than just an emotion. It's a bond between two individuals. I want us to think right quick this morning. Think about our level of love. On today, one of the assignments for us is once again to share love with someone that we come in contact with. Some of you might say, well, I'm not even leaving out of my house today, but you can share love in someone that you speak with. You can share love by going the extra mile. In the last couple of weeks, I was telling you to reach out to somebody, just to say, I'm thinking about you this morning. Reach out to a sister, to a brother, just to say, I just called to tell you that I love you. I just called because you were on my mind. I just called to let you know that I think that you are somebody, and I am here for you. When we look at love, love serves as a bridge. It's a connecting of one heart with another. It's a connecting of one soul with another. So when we look at common fears that really hold us back from loving, one of the common fears that holds us back from loving is the fear of rejection. What if they don't appreciate or reciprocate my love? But the truth of the matter is that love is not about controlling or expecting something to be in return. It's freely given. Sometimes we got to love people who are unlovable. We've got to love people who don't love us back. We've got to freely give it to somebody. Romans, I think it's around the 5th chapter and the 8th verse, it talks about God demonstrated his love for us. And this, that while we were yet, and I said this earlier, while we were yet and still in sin, he died on the cross for us. Jesus loved us before we even knew how to love him back, before we even knew how to love. Well, some of us, when we think about when we were pregnant with our children, there was a connection, there was a love bond that was going on in that child before they had the ability to really love you back. You were falling in love with that child with each week, each second, each moment, each month. While it was in your womb, as you were beginning to grow, that bond was beginning to grow. Jesus, when he was on the cross, taking everything he had to endure for us, he endured it just for love. He gave us love while we weren't even deserving of love. But sometimes love, the fear of love, is the fear of rejection. Giving out something that I won't get back in return. The fear of being hurt is my next point. I've been hurt before, some people says. I don't know how to trust again because I've been wounded by someone who indicated that they love me, but yet they hurt me. And because they hurt me, how do I trust again? How do I give freely my love out to you there? But the Bible talks about he healeth the broken heart, and he binds up the wounds that we have on the inside. So forgiveness is not just saying the words, nor is it saying that I decided that I'm going to hold this on the inside. I'm not going to forgive that person who have wounded me. But forgiveness is talking about rather or not you come to me and ask me for an apology, I still choose to freely forgive you. I still choose to freely say to you, in spite of it all, it wasn't okay that you hurt me. It wasn't okay that you wound me, but I choose to free myself of the pain of the hurt. And I choose on today to give you love. I choose on today to render love unto you. I realize that I'm not truly whole on the inside, but I serve a God who has just what I need to heal my broken heart. And not only does he heal the broken heart, but he binds up every wound that we have on the inside. So the wound is no longer seeping out hurt anymore, because the Father came in and he bind up the wound. He came in and he gave us an opportunity to love. Fear is a part of being hurt, is a reason why we don't love. But on today, I want to challenge you. You're not saying I forgive by saying that I'm okay with what happened to me, but you're saying I'm the bigger person in the situation and I love you in spite of, but because that God gave me love on today. When we talk about overcoming the fear of love on today, we're talking about the fear of running empty. A lot of times we get involved in relationship and we love beyond our imagination, and we feel as though that we don't have enough love, that one day our love will run empty. But if I give too much, we say, I won't have enough left to love me. But the truth of the matter is God is our source of love, and love is a well, as I've continuously said for the last couple of weeks. It's a well that never runs dry. On this morning, you don't have to have a fear of running empty on the love, because it's a well that never runs dry. And the source of our love comes from God. Isaiah 40:31 says, to those who hope in the Lord will be renewed in their strength, because our hope lies in God, and God is the source of our love. We get renewed moment by moment in God. We get renewed daily. He says, morning by morning, new mercies of God. There is renewal that comes into us every day, and that renewal comes in to show us how to love. That renewal comes in because God is our source of love, and he breathed into us the breath of life. So we're able to give up and share love. We don't love out of the source of our own strength, but we love because of God's overflowing love that's on the inside of love. When we became to get into connection with God, God showed us how to love. He gave us the love that we need. And because he has the source, and God's source never runs dry, we have an abundance of love. We have overflowing love. Our love river is constantly flowing over and over and over again. Yes, sometimes things in life happen. Yes, sometimes things go through. But thank God for being the source of love. Yes, it's difficult to love the unloved. Yes, it's difficult to love when you've been wounded and hurt. Yes, relationships cause you to withdraw and to hold back when you love, and it happens. It can happen for a season. It can happen for a moment. But never forget your source of love. Never forget where love comes from. Never forget that God will give you the love that you need in order to stand. So how do we break free from the fear of loving fully? Because before this month concludes, we want to learn how to fully love today. So how do we break free from the fear of loving fully? We love with God as your source. You don't love in your own strength. We love because God loved us first. According to 1 John 4:19, he loved us first. So we love with the source of God. We love because of God. And then we love without expectations. We give and it will be given to us, the Bible talks about. So we give so that it can be given to us. We give love out and it multiplies when it comes back to us. How do we break free from the fear of loving fully? We trust God with a heart. The Bible talks about perfect love drives away fear. So when we have the perfect love of God dwelling on the inside of us, when we have the perfect love of God being our source, it's going to drive away fear. Why? Because we can rely on the source that gave us love. We can rely on God because he is our source. We can rely on God because he loved us first. Not only that he loved us first, but he's teaching us how to love day by day. He's teaching us how to love moment by moment. He's teaching us how to love in spite of, but because love is necessary. So how do we break free from the fear of loving fully? We set healthy boundaries. Loving other people doesn't mean that we neglect having wisdom and discernment. But what it says is that I love you because of the love of God. But if me loving you is not healthy, if me going after you is not healthy, I've got to set boundaries. I've got to be able to love you because God loves me, because he commanded me to love you, because he's shown me how to love, because knowing him is a manifestation of love. But yet and still, I can't allow myself to be caught up and to be bound by having unhealthy love. So we set healthy boundaries when we begin to look at love. On today, our prayer is, Lord, help us to love fiercely. Help us to understand that your love is our source. Help us to know that, God, in the midst of us being broken, in the midst of us being hurt, in the midst of us giving out love to people, we were wounded, God. But our prayer on today is, God, heal our wounds. Make us not be afraid to love and to remind us that in giving love, we reflect who God is. So on today, I challenge you on today to know that love is far more than just a simple emotion. It is a symbol of connection. It is a symbol of growth. It is a deeper understanding of the mysteries of life. When we love, we're giving of ourselves. When we love, we're giving out. By love, we're paying attention to when and how love is being manifested in our life. As we give out love, we're uncovering different messages. We're uncovering the guidance of God in our life. We're uncovering the point that on the inside of us, we got some flaws. We got some character flaws on the inside of us, but God still loves us. God still gives to us. We understand that there is a spiritual meaning of love that offers rich insight and connection. On today, I want to challenge you in my tidbits to show love again. I want to challenge you in my tidbits to understand that God is love on today. I want to challenge you on today to know that your source of love comes from God. Understand on this morning in my Tuesday transformation tidbits, when Tina Turner asked, what does love got to do with it? Tina, I got an answer for you today. Love has everything to do with it. In spite of all the breaks, in spite of all the mistrust, in spite of all the burdens that were broken, in spite of everything, love heals on today. Love comforts on today. Love grants understanding on today. Love grants connection on today. Love gives trust on today. And because God loved us and he sent his son to die on the cross of Calvary for us, he is our source of love. He allows us to love one another. Remember, the Bible talks about while we were yet still in our sins, he died for us. He loved us just as we were, just as we are. I know sometimes it's difficult. I know sometimes it's hard for us really to love. But God, I want to just emphasize this morning, God is our source. And love is a well in us that never runs dry. So we got to put our hope in the Lord and ask God to renew our strength when it comes to love. We've got to know that in the midst of everything that we've encountered, you can trust again on today. You can forgive on today. You know that God is the God who can heal you on today. in spite of whatever you've gone through, in spite of everything else, and even in the fear of rejection, not being able to have it reciprocated unto you. Love is not about controlling or expecting something in return, but it's about freely giving on today. My Tuesday transformation tidbit for you on today is Jesus is love, and he gives love to us. And when you feel as though you can't love anymore, tap into the source of love on today. I challenge you once again on today. Show some love on today. Call that sister, call that brother. Show love to the one that you go through the store with. If you're going to Panera Bread on this morning, my favorite place, if you're standing in line, show love to somebody on today. Love could be a simple good morning. How are you today? Love can be as simple, have an amazing day on today. Love can be as simple as when you're talking to someone, the love on the inside of you shows out to that person. Love can be kindness to somebody. Be amazing on today. Show love on today. God bless you, and I love you. Bye-bye.